I wanted to come on here and address some issues that I've seen from posting for the last couple of days, and honestly, since I've had a service dog. And one of the biggest misconceptions that the public has about having a service dog, and businesses as well, is that the service dog has to be vested, otherwise, it's not a service dog. That is not true. According to the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, service dogs are not required to be identified or dressed in any certain way, identified as a service dog, or wear a vest. And there's many different reasons that they do that. One of the main reasons is discrimination or segregation, for having a service dog or being disabled. Not everybody wants to advertise to the world that it is a service dog or that they're disabled, and you're not required to. It also makes it easier for people that, may not be able to acquire those items. Makes it easier that they're not required to have them. Um, the other big misconception is that if a service dog is not vested, then it's my fault for someone coming up and petting my service dog, which is absolutely ridiculous to say that. And I've seen a lot of people saying that, I need to educate people, which I have been. I've been educating people for a decade on service dog etiquette and, service dog laws and access rights and all that. I can only do so much, and I do it every day. It's exhausting dealing with the general public. It's each individual's responsibility to educate yourself on, uh, you know, things like that. Like, I can't be held responsible that you don't know common sense to not come up and pet somebody's dog, whether it's a service dog or not. Um, they're not required to wear a vest. I don't always put a vest on for many different reasons. Um, you know, one being that sometimes it gets hot, another being it's not always convenient. Um, you know, it it can cause spots on the dog, rubbing their fur off and stuff like that if you vest them all the time. I mean, I could just go on. That's a whole another thing. But this specifically is to address saying, "Oh, well, you didn't have a vest on, so what do you expect?" I expect people to respect my space and not pet my service dog without asking. It's just rude. And another thing I'd like to address is when you tell people that you have a service dog, or they're like, or you say, "Oh, it's a service dog." Their first response is always, "Well, what's wrong with you?" Very rude. It's very rude, and uh, I haven't quite figured out how to address that without basically laughing because, um, it's rude, and you know it's really nobody's business everything that's wrong with me. you know but it's not that hard to you know Google is your friend, and it's right there. It's 2024. I know common sense isn't so common, but don't come up and pet people's dog. You don't go up and pet people's kids. Same thing with dogs. Don't just go up and start petting somebody's dog because, A, you don't know if that dog is going to attack you or not and bite you, because then you got your hand bit off. But, two, it's just not your dog. So don't do it. Vest or no vest. They're not required to wear a vest. And that's not an excuse to say, well, they didn't have a vest, marking them as a service dog. It's really not. So I appreciate everybody's support. Just want to make this video real quick and um, thank you for all the love and support. And um, I try and educate people. People can also educate themselves, um, and you know, make it a little bit easier for service dog handlers when we're out in public, because it is not easy for us out in public. Let me tell you. Most of the time, I don't really want to go out, but I know I have to because I have things to do, and because I have to train Justice, and I have to keep her, um, you know, um, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, well oiled rather. Like keep her as a well running machine, because when she doesn't go out and get public access, then they start to um, slide back on their training. So it's very important. Just remember that if you see somebody in a restaurant with a dog, mm, most likely it's a service dog. So don't pet it. Don't ask to pet it. Realize that it's a medical device for somebody, a life-saving device, so that they can function in public. So thank you all for your love and support, and remember, don't pet service dogs, vest or no vest, or at least ask.